Hmm. Well, good morning, and good morning. Ding, ding, ding went the trolley. Look at me. I didn't say, look at that. Is that a gray hair? I don't know. Uh, Listen. Yeah, oh my goodness, what was that? Listen, that's bathrobe moments for you. I'm bound. One of these mornings, you guys are going to come on, and I'm going to actually still be laying in bed. I promise you. If I could figure out how to have all this stuff start on its own, I'd give it a shot. But today, I am here, crusty looking and all, because I haven't shaved or anything. You know how it is. It's event week. You guys know what happens in my mind. I'm just all over the place. Expect a few senior moments. This and the other. There's some lint down there. My scruffy chin. The cleaning people are here because I can't do much with my knee. Right, I can't clean. Get it? Get it? Wink, wink. But anyway, so I convinced my husband to hire a cleaning company, cleaning service. So they're here. Got them started. And, big things happening here in Naperville. Not just today. The biggest thing is you're here. Welcome to today's episode. Hump Day. Is it Wednesday? No. Yes? What day is it? Brendan, you're in the green room. It is Wednesday. Okay, see? Senior moments. I told you. There's one. Get some love on the screen, would you please, if you've ever had a senior moment. If not, don't worry, give it time. I'm your host, Loren Michaels Harris, and today I'm so excited because, as you see, if you look here, discover the author and speaker in you. It's our big event happening this weekend. This weekend, Saturday specifically, the 15th, at White Eagle Golf Club. People are coming in from New York, New Jersey. Um, uh, where else? Texas, Ohio, just to name a few. And we are going to have a wonderful time this weekend. It is an interactive full day workshop where we are going to get you off your feet and out, on your feet and out of your seat. If you have been just itching to get your message into the world, well, if you're coming Saturday, we're going to show you how to do that. If you want to speak towards more business or speak as a business, if you want to have a podcast or a live stream show, perhaps you just want to do vlogging or something like that, anything where you are speaking a message on a consistent basis, we're going to show you how to find everything from the topic to that bread and butter speech, how to get over some of the fears, because public speaking is the number one fear in the universe. 98% of the population suffers from some form of fear of the fear of speaking. So we're going to tackle that. We've got a great lineup. Our lunchtime keynote speaker is none other than Dr. James Dentley. He's the author of this wonderful book, The Five Frequencies of High Performance, and he's going to deliver our keynote. We've got in the second half Dr. Janice Hooker Fortman. She's going to be showing you how to get your books done. Excuse me. That's, you know what that is. I'm not doing that breathing treatment they gave me at the hospital. I need to do better. We have a graphic artist, Brooke Curran, who is going to be on hand working with all of our VIP ticket holders to send you home with a mock up front and back cover of your potential book. So, Dr. Jan has authored this wonderful book, The Secrets to How Not to Throw Mama from the Train. And she'll be working with the incredible Misty Lane, second senior moment of the day. I'm on a roll. Misty Lane's book is What Goes Up, Overcoming Your Worst in Order to Live Your Best. She'll be in the house. Of course, there's my book, enough said. And then working with me in the morning half of the speaker section of the program is author and tenure veteran speaker Kevin D. Hoffman, and he's the author of this great book, Growing Up Black and White. And so it's just going to be a wonderful day. People start arriving today from the East Coast. Tomorrow, of course, and Friday. So I just want to say thank you to E360 Live. Right now, you guys, we are streaming live, LIVE, across Facebook, YouTube, Roku, Android, Apple TV, Periscope, and of course, E360 TV Live. I want to shout out to my homeboy, the world's mayor, Joshua T. Berglund. His show was right before this one. So get up early, set your calendar, set your alarm, and join Joshua for Gratitude Unfiltered. What a wonderful way to start your day. And also, shout out to our second week of being sponsored by Personal Victory Counseling, where Dr. Brian Rybczynski and his team are helping people become triumphant over life's challenges one day at a time. They can be reached at area 630-375-7416 or simply find them on the web at personalvictorycounseling.com. Now, today, our host is me. That's the third one. That's three. Three and counting. Uh, in case you see this is still the event. I'm not going to go all the way through it, but in case chocolate is a trigger for you, and that's what will get you there. Yes, we will be having chocolate that day, and not just me. But that was my stage name back in the days when I was a dancer, Chocolate Thunder. But that's another show. Um, Life is like a box of chocolates, and which one of those chocolates holds your story? Okay, think about it. Get yourself over to the White Eagle Golf Club Saturday, starting at 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. Now, who is this guy in this picture right here? Do you guys see him? Excuse me. There he is. This is one of the most brilliant men on the face of the planet, and the guy holding him is also pretty smart. I'll let that sink in. That was not a senior moment. Okay. How cute is he? And the baby's not bad either. See? Okay. All right. See, that is Brendan Neely. Brandon Neely and his little boy, who is just the most adorable little thing. If you can pry him from his grandmother's arms, that's another show. Anyway, we're going to talk about that. Brandon is one half of the dynamic duo known as Brandon and Amanda Neely. And here's what they have to say. They say, we've been in your shoes after opening the business of our dreams coffee shop, which was located in Chicago's South Loop. We thought we had made it. They thought everything was just fine. But from the outside, everything looked great. Not only was their business growing, but we were also making a difference by selling ethically sourced coffee and providing a neighborhood gathering place. But the truth was, we were standing on a financial cliff. Uh-oh, that's a vertigo I am well um, rehearsed with. Seriously, looking over that precipice, right? They were scraping by. It wasn't until they saw a documentary on the truth about banks and how they really work that they realized they needed to do something. So they scheduled an appointment, and in a short amount of time, they went from financial insecurity to having built some stabilized net worth. They are off to Ohio today to prove this works because they are buying a house today. And wait till you hear how they're doing it. The true test came when their coffee shop actually flooded. With the cost of repairs, it would have bankrupted the earlier versions of these two, but with their new financial strategy, they were ready. And this dynamic duo landed on their feet. Adopting grandma's wealth strategies, and that is a coined name, this has changed their lives. And they want to share that same transformation with all of us. So I am going to send the elevator down right now to get Mr. Brandon Neely, in here so that we can get this party started. And let me see here. I got a whole bunch. I've clicked this. I got a click happy finger, and I forget that every time I do it, it brings up an entire plethora of screens. So I am like deleting screens as we speak. Now let me hold on. Bear with me. Brandon, you can hear me in the green room, and everybody is used to me doing this, uh, taking forever to figure out how to, you know, get this right. So I need to scoot you all the way up to the top so we can see you. There you go. That's where you're going to be. And bear with me, everybody. I told you guys when I started this, I was going to be a minute before I got it down. Um, and where am I? I need to bring me up to the top too, or it's going to look weird. Okay. And there's Mr. Neely. Okay. Now I need my logo in here. Of course. There we go. Okay. The gang's all here. Let me send it over through the air. Brendan, you're now breaking up like Mike TV into millions of little pieces and flying across the screen. And you should be showing up any second here. Okay, Brendan, please come back. Let your body come back together. Get rid of that.
There we
And
go.
you're here.
I see
Yay.
myself. There we go.
Yes. And
Awesome.
I'm going to move me up some more. Okay. All right, look at that. Look how I can make myself bigger. Is that ego?
Technology.
Is that ego that I feel like I need mine to be?
Hey, you're the host. That's the way it goes.
That's funny. And there we
And
go.
never mind. I'm not going to go there. I was going
I
to
knew where.
say,
Yeah.
I
Cheers.
was going to use your name, Chocolate Thunder, uh, and
Well,
maybe I should call you that from now on, Chocolate
used to make
Thunder.
it rain, baby. Used to make it rain. So anyway, let me say hello, Jake Miller. Oh, here's the bathrobe. There it is. Jake Miller, world-renowned photographer to the stars, and also our wedding photographer is in the house. Hi, Jake. Jake, you're downtown a block or two from Brandon and his wife. So, Narinder Pun in Singapore. Nice to see you and all the rest of you. Welcome to the show. We're here today. We're going to hear from Brandon. Brandon, welcome. Welcome. I'm sorry
Thanks.
your wife had a women's conference or something today, right?
Yeah, she goes to this thing called Women Belong, and she's actually one of the leaders, interim leaders right now, helping lead that and speak in a big women's group here in Chicago. So if you're a female, I'm not invited to that thing, but it's called Women Belong. So check it out. She's found tremendous value in this event, networking event.
Okay. And obviously you own some stock in it.
Yeah, there you go.
Listen. For those of you, I'm kidding with you. For those of you out there who aren't familiar, like Jake Miller, first time here this year, this is a new addition to Bathrobe Moments. It's called our Bell of Purpose. When I ring it, it means that something came out of our guest's mouth that I think we can get behind. I'm going to ring the bell. If you agree, send some hearts, send some thumbs up, some kind of love on the screen. Can you do that? Let's practice.
I should
That's
do
your
that.
cue. There you go. Send some love up. So there you go. Oh, yes, they got it. Love it, love it, love it. Thank you, guys. So, Brendan, grandma's, what's it called? Grandma's wealth
Grandma's
strategy.
wealth wisdom. Wealth wisdom.
Okay, wealth
Yep.
wisdom. It used to be grandma strategies.
Well, I would say we do strategies always, but our branding is Grandma's wealth wisdom.
Okay.
Part of the reasoning we called it Grandma's wealth wisdom is sometimes intelligence skips a generation. If you think about it, in our financial worlds and a lot of baby boomers, they're in a worse place than their parents were. And are the things that we've done in the 80s and 90s, is that really working out for a lot of people? And that's where we think, hey, what did grandma do? How did she make it? How did they survive? And what was the difference?
I went to the bank. I saw my grandma go in the bank and take out money lots of times, and she
Mm-hmm.
never had to leave the house. It was
Yep.
with her every place she went because her bank was in her bra, her titties.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not kidding. She had no problem. She go my grandma go up in them mugs and come out with a paid grocery bill for a month.
She keep it safe, right close to her, right?
And it was a little purse. She had
Mm-hmm.
it stuffed in a little purse, and I was like, I remember as a little boy, I used to be going like, how does that thing stay in there? But she kept it in there. Let me tell
Yeah.
you. So, but you're right. Our my grandmother was very frugal. She knew how to stretch her money. She knew how to uh, balance it and be patient. That credit card thing wasn't even an option. So they
Mm-hmm.
saved up until they could
Yep.
afford what they needed, and they weren't so spontaneous. You know what I mean? Buying things at the drop of a whim. Um, excuse me. So tell me, first of all, you're leaving us. You're
Yeah.
leaving today in a car, going to Ohio to purchase a home. And what I
Yep.
find truly interesting is how you're doing it. Tell the folks how you are buying this house today.
Yeah, so we are going to Ohio. Part of the reason is I live in Illinois now, and I know how broke we are as a state. And I'm like, well, I have a son, 2 years old almost now. And I'm like,
Yes.
well, we got to make some changes. I don't know anybody in Ohio except for my brother-in-law. Um, so that's a little terrifying, but I could buy a decent house, and I'm able to leverage what I've been working on. So part of Grandma's wealth wisdom is our slogan is taking charge of our cash flow, leveraging our assets and breaking through to a smart, stable financial future. And I am doing that with what I teach to my clients. I'm doing that myself in buying this house. So I don't think you want to put everything into a maybe a 401k or in the market, especially as entrepreneurs. As entrepreneurs, our biggest asset is ourself, right? Uh, we are our greatest asset. So why would we be giving most of our assets elsewhere, right? Right. So like investing in your business here, getting a TV show going. There takes investments to do that, but you need to have that available for yourself to access that money without going and saying, "Well, I'm going to access my 401k and then do it." Right, with a penalty. Right, we take a penalty to get that money to start our business and whatever. So what I'm doing is I'm accessing this thing that I've created to put my 20% down payment on my house, right? And most people don't even have 20%, but I'm using 20% that's going to give me leverage power, and I don't have to pay PMI insurance, which is even better because that's more cash flow in my pocket.
Okay, wait a minute.
It's confusing, right? It's crazy.
Boy, I mean, you got to. First of all, look. I'm just a real living, breathing example of why most of us don't do so well with this stuff. Because first of all, you started talking, and I was doing my best to stay engaged. But then somewhere around word number
10,
two,
15,
no,
2. There you go, 2.
You started sounding like, and I'm like, oh, what is it about this world of finance and being fiscally responsible that makes so many of us instantly want to run and go as far away from the conversation as possible? What is that?
I think some is our mindset, right? It starts with our mindset, and maybe we want to take control, or we should want to take control of our financial future. And we all have big dreams, right? The challenge is, do we make a strategy or plan to get there? When we start a business, they want a business plan, right? And we don't think about it. Yeah, usually, at least an investor is going to ask, "Where's your business plan?" A bank's going to ask, "Hey, let's see your business plan. Let's see your profit and loss statement." But we don't take that time to ask those questions of ourselves, right? We don't spend that time saying, "Okay, what do I want my money to do for me?" Not the other way of, let me just pay and let me get a cell phone, let me get this, and our expenses exceed everything else, right? We don't figure out this where we want to go, right? Does that make sense?
I'm sure it does to someone out there.
So
I'm kidding. Yes, it makes perfect sense. I'm in
so we
denial.
want to.
I'm just telling you, Brian handles all that stuff. Thank God.
Well, I would say both of you need to talk together on this. At least have monthly budget meetings or any kind of meetings to say, are we on track? And what's happened, because emergencies happen, knee surgeries, like things like that. Hopefully, you're not going to have 15 of them, but
nope.
But
Brendan, listen. If Brian were to say to me, honey, can we have a budget meeting tonight at 7:30? I'm gonna look at him like he a damn fool.
Why?
I'm like, hell no, we can't have a budget meeting. Because first of all, I am not, because I wouldn't have anything to contribute. Let's put it that way. I push everything across the table in this household as far as budget. Now that's Brian. I mean, everything's all laid out and paper clipped, and he does all the filing and all of that. But so let's talk about that. Do you feel that it has to be I mean, it works in our household that he
Hmm.
is good at that and loves to do it. Learned well from his father, a self-made multimillionaire,
Hmm.
and learned about the investing and all of that. Whereas I, on the other hand, I still have stuff in layaway from 1987.
Well, and I think that it's good to kind of be on the same page. That's in any relationship. You want to kind of figure out, hey, is
True.
there underlying issues that he's withholding or that he's mad about that I don't know, I'm just spending my money and he's
Mhm.
trying to save it. Uh, with these budget meetings, what you want to make sure of is that they are fun, right?
And
It's
how does
not.
that? What does that look like? I mean, is there a piggy bank pinata? Do you bring out a make it rain cake? What? How do you make finances fun?
So what is fun to you? Let's ask you that. Like, what
Um,
is?
Fun to me dealing with money is when they say, um, "Here you go. Here are your bags. Thank you for shopping at Macy's."
Yeah.
And I go,
So
"You're welcome."
you're the spender. He's the saver, right?
Oh, he
Uh,
spends too. But yeah,
he spends. Yeah.
yeah, but saving, no. Just yesterday, and he's I don't know how he figures me out, but because I try to run to the mailbox if I've done something on one of the credit cards, I'll try to
Hmm.
go. Still around,
You'll
I
hide it.
swear. I'm going. Yep, I steal
Yeah.
the city card statements and then try to hurry up and call it in, or and
Hmm.
pay behind the, you know. And yesterday I got busted. I'll be honest. I'll own it. I did because he just happened to call home for something. He goes, "Oh, and honey, by the way, I just happened to see that one credit card bill for $16,000. We need to chip away at that. You know how I am. I don't like any debt."
Yep.
And
Yep.
I'm like, "Hello, you're breaking up. Did you say you don't like any debt? Talk about that. Is that even how can a person believe that's even possible?"
Yeah. Well, and I think by both of you, and that's the hard part in even what I do, right? You're dealing with two people, you're dealing with relationships, you're dealing with psychology, you're dealing with emotion, maybe broken family emotion, all kinds of stuff. But I believe that money controls everything we do, everything.
That's true.
Um, and if you don't understand or have a plan about your money, someone else has a plan for your money. Macy's has a plan for your money. I mean, we are a
Right.
consumer culture.
You're right.
That's what changed in the 50s, where we look at our world. We're not known as people anymore, we're known as consumers. And all the economy is based off of consumption.
Hmm.
And so what we want to figure out is how do we not just be consumers, and how do we provide value in the relationship between even uh, you and your husband, right? How do you provide value and um, less stress? Because eventually what's going to happen is down the road expenses are going to come.
Right.
Medical expenses are going to come, things are
Right.
going to happen, and if you don't have a plan or strategy for it, uh, well, either way, there's going to be something that happens.
Exactly.
Um,
That's life.
it's life. And so, how can you create a buffer where, when life happens, both positive and negative, you have access to your money to take advantage? Not just giving your money and saying, hey, I want this Macy's thing and I want this now, and I'm paying 22% interest, 15%, whatever the interest rate is. Banks love us when we do that because guess what? They make a lot of money without any expense,
So wait a
right?
minute. You probably know. Let's talk about your credit cards. You probably
Hmm.
know what the interest rate you're paying is on each one of your cards, don't you?
So I would say I don't have any credit cards. Um,
What?
I mean, I use one for like expenses, and I have one that I use, but I pay off every month.
See, that's what
So,
Brian does. He pays them
mhm,
off every single month down to zero.
yep. I I
Some people
literally
think, what's the purpose of having a credit card if you can't max it out? And I'm
and
just
those
playing devil's
yeah,
advocate here, but it's
those
true.
people yeah, those people will at some point be in a place later where they are not reaching their dreams or they're withheld. Maybe they bought that Ferrari, but then that limits the other things they want to do, and eventually you can't sustain that. The rich people they aren't in that world. They use credit wisely. I'm not saying be debt free is the always the way to go, but you
Right.
want to be smart. I mean, I'm buying a house. I will have I will have a mortgage, but I want to be smart about my mortgage, and I'll probably have a mortgage for the rest of my life. I would assume because I'm going to create more assets and create more cash flow. We should be asking always, how much more cash flow can I get, and then minimize our liabilities.
Okay. So, Brendan, here we are in about the halfway point for Q1.
Hmm.
What are some suggestions for people who
Yeah,
want to do better in 2020 and be sitting in a different place this time next year than they are now?
yeah.
What are some
I,
easy, actionable steps to start turning this situation around?
Well, I would say one is between you and your husband, right? This is a perfect example. You guys need possibly to set a meeting. That's fun, right? So again, fun is, hey, do we go to a coffee shop? Is that fun for us? Do we go to a place that is different, and we have that conversation, right? Um, Something that gets a little bit of outside of yourself. Um, and he might have the numbers, and you guys talk about dreams. How are we going to achieve this? What's coming up? And most people, they're really looking at breaking the paycheck to paycheck cycle, right? That's the challenge, right? And so, what I've thought about, and this is in our most recent podcast episode, breaking that paycheck to paycheck cycle, and I think about it like the ABCs. The ABCs first. You need to assess, right? You need to kind of know where you're going. You have to
Yes.
have a you got to get a lay of the land, right? Where are my credit cards at? What's the high interest? What's the low interest? And then we figure out what um, what to do with that, right?
Hmm.
Um, and so that's one of the first things. Get the lay of the land.
Let me
Okay,
ask
go
you,
ahead.
can I ask you something? Okay,
Hmm.
because I think you were here probably right about a year ago, maybe a little bit
Hmm.
longer.
Yeah,
And I don't think you were saying anything. I know you guys were living in the city. I think most
yeah.
likely where you are now. And I don't
Hmm.
remember you even talking about because the baby was like maybe 10, 11 months old then,
Yeah, yeah,
right? And I
yeah.
don't remember you even mentioning the possibility of buying a home. But now here you are. So
Hmm.
obviously, the plan that you were talking about before when you said how you guys had figured out, and I want to know what you mean by that. But don't put yourself in risk. We don't want to see you come up missing before you can close on that house because some banking
Yeah, yeah.
person came to holler at
Yep.
you. But
Yeah.
you said you've learned how banks really work. Um,
Yeah.
and obviously something is working in your world because everything is getting better and you are
Mhm.
becoming more financially stable and sound and you're building worth.
Mhm.
So how from the time you started this, a lot of us think that if we start this thing, oh, it's going to take forever before I see anything. Is it really going to make a
Mhm.
difference? Nah, nah.
Yeah.
So, how does it work? This thing that you all help people with, Grandma's wisdom. How
Mhm.
soon? Because a lot of people, we're in that I need to see it now society. How
Yep.
soon after you start saving and pinching and all these things do you start feeling and noticing a difference? And how do you keep your hands off of what you're
Yeah.
building? That's my
Yeah.
problem. I can send money over to my savings, but in the
Yep.
back of my mind, I know, well, if I need to pay for this other thing or whatever. I do have that money sitting over there in the savings. I can go over there and grab it real quick. It's just a matter of clicking.
Yep. Well, and in our savings account, right?
Yes.
You don't make a lot of money. The banks love us. I mean, that's why we're not a saver culture anymore. Grandma's day, we put it into a savings account. You made money. Um, the banks, again, why this is such a powerful business. You put money in an account, and then they turn around and give it to somebody else and charge them 22% interest or
On your
10%
money. They use your
on
money
your
to make
money.
money. Hmm.
Yeah. How much uh what is their business model? Their business model is it's somebody else's money, and they're making 15-20% on what product? Nothing, air. Uh and so wouldn't you want to figure out how that business model is working and leverage it? It's all about interest, right? Um, it's all about thinking smart with your money. The first thing I think is you need to believe that you can change your behaviors, right? It all starts with belief. It all starts with uh, putting that in to your head that you can believe or you can break the paycheck to paycheck cycle. If you
Okay.
don't believe you can,
You won't.
you're never going to do it. You
Awesome.
have to have a belief.
We're at the bottom of the hour, on our way upstairs to the top of the hour. And for those of you just joining, welcome to today's episode, Hump Day, here on Bathroom Moments. Our guest today is Brendan Neely, half of the Amanda and Brandon duo. She's at a women's conference today, but they are a young couple who completely turned and flipped their life around by learning and implying grandma's wisdom to their finances. They are actually leaving today to go to Ohio to buy a home um,
Can't
with
wait.
money. Yeah, I bet.
Yeah.
Uh, the deposit is coming from his insurance policy. So, and he
Yeah.
gets to pay himself back. And he was saying this, that, and the other. So, Brendan, so that's what's going on here. So, I got a question for you.
Hmm.
Is every bank the same? Is it one size fits all? Does it matter what bank you go to? And what's the difference between a bank and a credit union?
Oh, I would always go credit union over bank. And I think it's like everybody's finances or financial wisdom out there. Not everybody is the same. If you were to just take Dave Ramsey's advice or even my advice, every situation is different. So you want to, like, again, take stock of your finances, figure out what is your goals and plans, and then based off of that, pick the bank that works. Also, credit score is a big deal, right?
Yeah.
Um, so based off your credit score, you might be able to get something, you might not. Um, Having again those conversations first is going to give you a chance, or at least know how you can move forward. So
Hmm.
in 2011, I just found this the other day. I was over $100,000 in credit card debt, business debt. We just launched our business, and I was tracking everything. I looked at the interest rates, on all of our cards, and it's been about a little less than 10 years, and we watch our net worth as opposed to just, am I back to zero with debt? How is my net worth growing? Um, and I found that I was like, oh my gosh, I thought we had less debt, but we had a lot, in my opinion. So um, looking backwards and then looking forwards really helps.
So we have a question.
And that's credit unions almost got extinct because of the big guys.
Right.
Uh, and if you think about it, the Federal Reserve, who started the Fed, that protects our money, it was created by banks.
Right.
Um, Anyway,
So
there's a whole lot of crazy history with that.
so here you guys, a young couple, young family, moving into the wild frontier of Ohio, new
Hmm.
home. Um, of course, your business moves with you because you can do it from anywhere. You work for yourselves. What and when, how and where do you start investing? Where do you guys put your retirement.
Mm,
What does your version of 401k look
yep.
like? For the person, lots of us are entrepreneurs. We work for ourselves. And, my husband has a private practice, but he went and spent last Saturday. I'm glad I couldn't go because I was, my leg and all. But he went to something with a wealth person, and you had to bring your own lunch. You had to pay I think $65. You couldn't, if you were a minute late, they weren't going to let you in, and it was like you know and he
Hmm.
went and sat through it because it's important to him that we do as best, and we change with the times.
Yeah.
The way he says, the way that we needed to save 5 years ago is different today. There are better options, but it's nice to keep your finger on the pulse to make sure that you're monitoring how to best invest and grow your money.
Yeah.
And I don't know what it is. I would have never in a million years even thought about that. I
Yeah.
wouldn't have. So, how do you feel about that? And what does that piece look like for you two?
Yeah. I
Because
would
you have a
say
baby.
there's a couple things. Investing is different than savings. Investing is different than
Explain that.
savings. So Wall Street wants us to say we are saving for our retirement, right? We're saving in a 401k and all of this. And the whole creation of the 401k was created by the government to take it off of business owners and put it onto us as saving for our own future, where it used to be pensions. That's where grandma's strategies were a little better. Like she had a pension that the business was accountable for, right? Now it's on us to save, which no one's saving as well. And saving, again, is different than investing, right? So if you can lose it and there's potential of losing it, that's investing. Um, Saving is money that you cannot afford to lose, right? Money
Mm,
you cannot afford to lose. And
okay.
if things go south in a market, that's where 2008 screwed a lot of people because
Lot
they
of
thought they
people.
were saving, they were investing.
And
So
a
you want to
lot of
think,
them still aren't back. Did you
hmm
know that?
and after how many years in a great market?
Right.
Uh, so, and what happens when we have another one, which we will at some point? So, how do we protect against it? For me, I've found this strategy with it's called bank on yourself strategy,
Okay.
where I use properly designed whole life insurance. And I know a lot of people will hear whole life insurance and say, all right, that's wrong, that's evil, that's not the best way. Or the assets under management people and the Wall Street world will say it costs too much or whatever. Well, I didn't make a lot of money. I'm now debt free and I'm using my policy. So I'm a perfect example of using it as a I'd say poor person. Um, so I used it because it's all about leverage, right? I am leveraging my future cash for retirement for something right now to buy a house.
Right.
That's going to then create another asset, right? And if I waited and had it in a 401k, well, what I can't use it until I'm 59 and a half, right? Or let's say I have a kid in college. Well, then you're saving for retirement, but you have the kid's education that you want to help. And so then you have, and I talked to a client yesterday, 300,000 in a 401k, but his immediate need is my kid is 17 and I need to figure out how to get him through college. So I'm going to use a credit card. Uh, what I like to think about is it's all one wallet. All of it is one wallet.
That's
Your whole
exactly what
thing.
Brian says. He always says it's the same pot.
Yep. And so you could be making 8% rate of return, whatever that means, in a 401k, and you're spending 22% uh, in your credit cards, right? So really, are you winning or losing? Right? You have to really think again: who's winning, who's losing, what is our full picture, and how do we? And I'm not saying you don't put things in the 401k. I'm
Sure.
saying only invest what you could afford to lose.
Okay. Question. Okay. Some that some fuzz under there? Yes, it is. I need to shave. Anyway, listen. There we go. What about this? When where do we go? Those of
Hmm.
us who just don't have that initiative, that mindset that it makes it fun for us like it obviously does for you. Where would you recommend? Where do we go? Do we watch podcasts? Do we listen to somebody? Do we get an audio book? Do we pay someone to get
Yeah.
us right? Where do people go? There's credit counselors, there's wealth important, and wealth managers, and what's a great, nice, safe, healthy starting place to get
Well,
this together?
of course, you go to
There's your
Grandma's
chance.
Wealth Wisdom,
There you go. There's your chance.
right there. We have a PDF download. There's a couple things I would tell you. Uh, if you go to Grandma's Wealth Wisdom uh, .com/top tips, we have a Grandma's Top Tips for an Independent Financial Future. So if you go there, that's a great starting point, and it's very simple PDF that is
And
uh,
say it again. It's called.
Grandma's Wealth Wisdom.com/top tips.
And will you put that in the comments when you get a chance?
Oh, for sure. Um,
Top
yeah,
tips. So give us a
and
couple of those top tips. What do they look like?
so again, I think one of them I mentioned, only invest what you can afford to lose,
Okay.
right? Investing is different than savings because again, if you have it in a 401k and an emergency happens, what would have happened to me if I had that flood in the business and I had it all in a 401k?
Uh huh.
Well, I had a 10% penalty on my money that was saved for me in the future, penalty, and I would have been trying to scramble, right? So I
Mm-hmm.
accessed
Yeah.
my policy
Ooh,
for cash value to get out of that, and I paid myself back at a low interest,
there.
right?
Yes. You see what I'm doing? I'm stretching the furrowed brow back out before it's permanent because talking about all this finance stuff automatically makes me go here. So I have to purposefully stretch it out.
That's so many people, and that's kind of our challenge in today's world,
Oh,
and that we want to get on the same page. We
okay.
we are master of our ship, right?
Yes.
We need to be the master of our own ship.
Now,
Um,
I
does that
got
make sense?
something. Yes, it does. And it's a perfect segue because my next comment or statement was about I see that at least at my bank, and I bank at US Bank, right? But something that I've
Hmm.
seen crop up that even though I kind of just like glance at it out of the corner of my eye when it pops up on my screen when I go inside I log into my online banking, I've been
Hmm.
finding myself paying more and more attention to it. And tell me what you think this is from the banking standpoint. And what I'm speaking to is I notice that every month they'll show me a chart, a graph that says last month your spending for eating out, dining out was significantly lower.
Hmm.
And it shows me how much, or how much I spent in retail was significantly higher, or whatever. They show me what I'm doing, just in a brief, at a glance kind of a chart. And
Hmm.
that's not something I'm used to seeing my bank do for me. And it is helping me um,
Hmm.
at least register, huh? Because I used to would have went, well, good Lord, I need to make a few more reservations. I'm slipping.
Yeah.
I didn't eat
Yep.
out 20 times. What's wrong with me? But but they give you a figure how much you spent literally on dining out. And I'll go like, ooh, that's almost 3 car payments.
Yep. Well, and that's why you want to have that meeting with your spouse if you don't have that kind of tool there, because what's going to happen is um, if you don't know that, if you don't have that data, you keep spending and things happen, right? Most people don't even have $400 if an emergency happens, right? And an emergency will happen. It's a matter of when. So them showing you that, I think that's a great idea. Um, I still, you always want to question what are their motives, and I think their motives are, hey, if you realize that, you might keep more money in the bank, which is better for them,
For them.
right?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
so how do you make sure it's, again, we're a consumer culture.
Can I ask you a
What is in
question?
our benefit?
Can I ask you a question about credit card statements?
Hmm.
Because I know half the time I don't even look at it because a lot of us are paperless
Yep.
for good reason. And the only time I realized that, wait, Apple Music, I didn't order any music, or wait, this, that, and the other, all these little things that are 9.99, eight, and then you go and they give it back to you or whatever. Um, in the day and age of hacking and all this sort of thing,
Hmm.
how important is it, in your opinion, um, Brandon, that we actually go in every month? Maybe some people do this. I don't know.
Yep.
And really look at every charge and make
Uh,
sure that we understand it and remember it or dispute it. Because, I mean, isn't that a real business for other people to count on us being lazy and blind to
yep.
our own finances and then extorting that and robbing us blind?
I would say 100%. So this is crazy. So I'm a self-pay with medical insurance, and I itemize and everything. And with the medical, I've seen a couple problems where they double charged me. However, most people have no idea because their insurance will pay for it, and then their deductible, who knows, whatever. I think that's part of our cost. We're double paid because we don't even keep an eye on that stuff, and that system's all jacked up. But how then, if we know this is happening, shouldn't we want to keep an eye on this? Because let's say that's happening, $50 a month, or even $99 uh, um, 99 cents every month, that's still a dollar. That adds up.
It adds
So,
up.
yeah. So, doing an audit, talking, whether it's your husband or you, somebody, and as you're in communication and you communicate with each other, because that's what's going to solve most problems is communicate. Uh, and I think the other aspect is we want to communicate with ourselves, right? Not avoid, we still are in our own heads, and you have to
Yeah.
believe you can,
Get out
but
of
you
the
have to
denial.
communicate. You have to communicate with yourself. Most people are in denial. They will avoid me like the plague. But what I think is, hey, you're only avoiding yourself, uh,
Mm, got
and
that right.
I
That
think that's the challenge. So,
so the family, as we round this last lap of the interview, because we're almost finished. I want so let's talk about because I'm going to consider it.
mhm.
Oh, kill me now. Um, the family financial meetings. Should this be once a week, once a month, once a quarter? How often do you think is a healthy, productive, you know, time frame to have these?
Yeah. So I would say my wife is like your husband, right? She's the one that does all of the paperwork stuff and all of that.
Hmm.
I like to come in, so once a month, I'm in there. We're talking, and then every 6 months we want to look and say, okay, where are we at our goals? Because again, things happen. Summer happens. Vacation, Christmas happens, and we want to reassess. So at least monthly is a good thing. Maybe in the beginning you want to do it a little more regularly to build
Okay.
a habit,
Okay.
but you really want to, like, again, especially as a married couple, talk to each other,
Yeah.
even if you're the avoider. It's good to know, maybe having a profit and loss statement. That's kind of the idea, P&L from a
Hmm.
business perspective.
Hmm.
You just look at it from that level, and then he's telling you, hey, stop going to Macy's. Like, you need to cut that out. Hey, and listen to him.
Does
uh
does grandma's wisdom and top tips offer any type of uh, uh, um, methodology for those people who need ideas on how to set up an intervention when you
Yeah.
have a spouse or kids that are, you know, frivolously spending or whatever? Do you guys provide tips and ways to help get everybody aboard on the same mission? Because I mean, if there's mutiny on the Bounty, so much for
Yeah.
righting the ship.
Yep. I think that we've been doing lots of podcasts on it. There's an episode that we did in our podcast called Bucket of Crabs. And the idea is somebody will pull you down, or the other person might pull you down. You're trying to get out, and they'll pull
Yeah.
you down. So
Where do
check
we
out the
find that
podcast.
podcast? Where?
If you go to grandmaswealthwisdom.com, I would say start with the Paycheck to Paycheck podcast. There's a simple PDF journal that I think is really great to download. That episode is breaking the paycheck to paycheck cycle.
Okay.
And if you go down, I mean, listen to all the podcasts. I feel like
Yeah.
they're fun. We aren't trying to be all like too hard, but it's all mindset. It starts with your mind first.
How often do you guys drop a new show?
Every 2 weeks.
Every 2 weeks.
So
Okay.
we have one coming out tomorrow, and it's all about taxes, which is not the one you want to start with.
Right.
But the paycheck to paycheck cycle, if you know,
Yeah.
because again, emergencies are going to happen. So how do you break that?
Sounds awesome. Brandon, we are out of time, and you got to get on the road to head to Ohio for that new home. Congratulations. And please give our best to your lovely wife, Amanda, and kiss the most handsome baby in the city of Chicago for
I know.
us.
Well, for now, he'll be in the city of Cincinnati soon.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. And we're losing one of our greatest resources.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. And please, when you get settled in the home and everything, we'd love to have you back for an update. Just reach out and let us know, and we'll make that happen. Okay. Thank you for all these wonderful tips to help us do better with our finances and our future. So, everyone, get over to grandmaswealthwisdom.com and start doing better and living the life that you deserve, right? Brendan, thank you so much. Have a
No
wonderful,
problem.
wonderful
Thanks for having me.
day. You're welcome. Thank you. So, everybody, that was Brendan Neely, and get over. I highly recommend it. I've asked him to drop his links into the comment section so that you can just go straight over and check out all the wonderful things that they're doing over at Grandma's Wealth Wisdom. And you'll also hopefully get to meet the other half of the duo, Amanda. So listen. Tomorrow, a riveting storyteller, a woman who, man, her story is just incredible. Watch for the promo later today on that. And man, we got a lot of stuff happening here. I look forward to sharing it all with you. Get out there now, won't you please? And love up on everyone you can. But remember, we can't really do anything about that until now. How come I can see him?
I'm
Okay.
still there.
I know. I see you sitting on the screen. Um, there you go. We can't really do anything for other people until we've tried it out on ourselves. Use yourself as the guinea pig. Love yourself first. Be honest with yourself. Just like Brendan said about being in denial about your finances. If we lie to ourselves about one thing, then we're going to end up lying to ourselves about everything. We don't want that, right? So don't be afraid of what you don't know. Go and get the information from places that you can trust, like Grandma's Wealth Wisdom, for example. grandmaswealthwisdom.com, where you'll find everything you need with our good friends Amanda and Brendan. Thank you so much, everybody. I'm Loren Michaels Harris. Have the best day possible. Okay. And I will see you back here. How about tomorrow? How's that sound? I'll see you then. God bless you. Nope, we're all good. Thank you, my friend.